Thank you very much, Tom. And thank you all for sticking it out through the rain. In closing our program today, I hope to tell you about our group and how this event came together. As we have throughout today's program, I would also like to share with you a bit about my personal experience as an Asian American. Last and most importantly, I hope to highlight concrete actions that we all can take to support each other and the AAPI community. AAPI Montgomery County started as a group of concerned parents in Lower Moreland Township. Some of us shared a mutual sense of frustration with how our school district has been handling an incident of violent anti-Asian hate speech involving the student body. Shortly after the Atlanta murders, to show support for the AAPI community, we formed our group and dedicated ourselves to organizing this vigil. As we sought valuable advice from the community, from community leaders and elected officials, our event quickly took on its own life, resulting in what we all shared today. Our most important goal from the very beginning was to show our children and our loved ones that we are not helpless in the face of hatred. There are things that we each can all do. Organizing is a first step. Starting a dialogue is a first step. And using our voices and having the right people listen is a first step. We know for some of you, this may be a step in a continuing journey that you've been on for many years. But we also hope that this is the first step for many of you too. My personal journey starts when my parents immigrated from Taiwan for graduate school and to raise a family. Growing up in an upper middle class New Jersey suburb, in many ways I exemplified the model minority myth, doing well in school and never causing much trouble. Yet, like so many of you over the years, so many of us over the years, I have not avoided continually feeling like an outsider when complimented on my English or when asked, "Where are you from?" We have all endured these slights and microaggressions for years, and even more so in the form of increasingly suspicious glares and hurled insults during the pandemic. What I actually feel now is a stronger sense of connection with the AAPI community than I have ever felt before, across generational and socioeconomic divides, and despite the language and cultural differences that exemplify the rich diversity of the AAPI community. Sadly, it is also a heightened sense of shared community that is a direct result of being lumped into a simply labeled, perennially foreign, homogenous group without any recognition of our valuable differences. It is a heightened sense of community because we are all being painted with the broadest of strokes and in the most negative of light as scapegoats. So my question and challenge to you is this: how can we harness the sense of community in the face of unfair hatred and presumption? We must take action. Action on any level as an individual is important, but action taken together as a unified community to enact change is powerful. It is only together that our actions will be noticed rather than being taken for granted. For example, we are all concerned about the safety of our loved ones as we walk our neighborhoods and city streets. To accurately represent the scope of the problem, we need to know how to report hate crimes to our police without being dismissed or for fear of repercussions. If you or your loved ones should happen to be the victims of hate, or if you witness incidents of hate, we hope the portable hate crime reporting resource cards that we distributed today will make it easier to report these crimes and help in this effort. There are also pieces of legislation in the US Congress we can support, like HR 1843. This law would set up expedited reviews of COVID-related hate crimes. We can act by reaching out to our congresswomen and congressmen by calling and writing them in large numbers. We also need to fight against legislation that makes it harder for AAPI and other minorities to vote. We need to educate each other about these efforts so that we can organize our actions. How much one gets involved is an individual choice, and any amount of action taken will help. Electing more AAPI community members to represent us is so very important. I recently met Susie Ratsabong, a first-generation Lao American who is running for Springfield Township Commissioner. Similarly, my colleague Tom Hassani and I have each chosen to run as candidates in our local school board elections in Upper and Lower Moreland Townships. Hopefully, there are and will be many more AAPI candidates like us who would appreciate your support. I'd actually like to take a moment to thank Tom for being our MC today and for doing such a great job. In addition to being a founding member of AAPI Montgomery County, Tom is an officer of the Equity Alliance of Upper Moreland. And in the short amount of time that I've gotten to know Tom while working to organize this event, I've been so impressed and inspired by his level of community engagement and passion for equity. Thank you again, Tom. Running for office is not for everybody and certainly not the only way to take action. However, it is important to have resources to help guide your desire to help. Our hope is that AAPI Montgomery County may serve as one of hopefully many resources available to you as you choose to act. We hope this is just the beginning of our shared journey. I would like to close by thanking all of our invited guests for coming to show their support and to listen to our concerns. Thank you to our speakers for engaging in important dialogue today. As our elected officials, our law enforcement, and our community leaders, we ask you to consider our concerns and to hear our voices. But to be very clear, the most important voices are those that have not yet been heard. Voices that come from the community members who have come here today, voices of those who have not spoken, but who will. Our sincere hope is that you leave here today knowing you deserve to be heard, and that there are actions we can all be taking, no matter how small. Together, our actions can be powerful. Thank you so much for your time and support today. Please be safe.